Hi everybody. So for the last, several hours, I have been working on stealthing Firestarter. And by stealthing it, I mean doing every single day stealth, including day one. I had watched someone else on YouTube do it, and I thought, you know what, I might be able to pull that off. So you're watching me here. Actually, what I was hoping to do was big oil, but it just never popped up, and I don't have a huge amount of money on my offshore account, so I just didn't want to spend the money for it. So while I was waiting for big oil to pop up, I noticed Firestarter shows up, and so I said to myself, you know what, maybe it's time I give that a shot. So it'll show up here any moment here. If it doesn't, I'm going to fast forward. Some of the things I learned while doing this. First off, obviously I'm going to edit this video so that you don't have to watch me fail, but if I remember correctly, I failed something like 13 times, 14 times, I'm not sure. A huge number of times I failed, and the reason for that is that on the level 1, the first day, if you get spotted whatsoever, if an exclamation point comes up, it's over. The police are on their way. Stealth is over. Here I am. I finally I see Firestarter pop up, and I say, you know what, heck with it. I'm going to go for it. And there's my awesome mask to deal with it. So yeah, that's what's really difficult about this level is if you get spotted at all, if they spot a body at all, there is no throwing down an ECM and hoping you can take somebody out. It's as soon as the red, exclamation point comes up, game over. So that's what you're dealing with when it comes to actually stealthing this. So I had gotten this spawn. I don't know if you can see that, but I got the far one on the left. I'd gotten that spawn probably 4 or 5 times in a row. Now I've stealthed this one other time, and it took me just about as many tries. And I found that the easiest one to stealth is if it's on the right, the far one on the right. A lot of that has to do with just the makeup of the buildings and where you can shoot people. One of the reasons that that's important is because the gun that I'm using, I carry a Car 4 that's totally modded out for stealth, but I also have the Judge, which I just have nothing but a silencer on there, and then the laser that you can put on there. And the reason I use the Judge specifically is because of its ability to knock people back. Since they changed this to the point where you only get 2 body bags, and since this is a quote-unquote non-stealth level, you can't get body bags. You can't get that perk. So sure, I can bag 2 guys and hide them, but once I've bagged those 2, every other shot I take, the guy's going to lay where I end up downing him. So having a little bit of control where I can put somebody turns out to be really important. I have some other videos where I think it's a little bit more important than on this particular one, but you'll notice I position myself in ways where I can actually launch somebody into a corner, where when somebody turns another corner, they won't see them necessarily. And I'll point that out as we're doing that. But here I am. Take out a couple people in the back. I move the bag up here. I found out the hard way that every once in a while, there is a guy that walks around back here. Regardless of gates, I've seen a guy back here. So he kind of comes around that corner and will spot things pretty quickly. So here on the right, there's almost always a guy. If you've got the far left containment area, the one that's just right here where I am, there's almost always a guy in that little alleyway there. So you have to pay attention to that. As far as what I'm doing here, again, you have to be super cautious. These guys spot you super fast. I don't remember if it's visible, but my stealth level is 6, which is just 3 above the minimum I've ever seen anybody have. I think you can get lower, but I've never spec'd for it. But at this point, what I'm doing is looking at where are people who are walking and where are the stationary guys, because every time you do this level, there's going to be a couple guys who are stationary. They never move. They will change the direction they're facing on occasion, but they never walk around. And then there's guys who walk around. and there's predefined patterns that they take, and they can be convoluted and they tend to be fairly random, but you know. So here's this. I'm going to pull out my judge. I'm going to follow this guy until he gets to a point where I can shoot him and blow him into a place where he's hidden, so that if somebody turns a corner, this is, I don't remember exactly when I did it, but if somebody were to turn a corner, I'm able to deal with them. So you'll see here what I'm talking about here. So boom, I'm able to launch him into that corner right there. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. You can see it. I'm hoping he'll move when I shoot him a couple times. It never happens, but that's specifically why I carry this gun for stealth missions. And it's one hit, one kill, always. One bullet hits him regardless. So it's super good for stealth. I quite enjoy it. The only thing wrong with it is if you have something across the map you need to take out, well, then you have to pull out your primary. But other than that, oh, so here's the guy I was talking about. He's walking around the corner. You know, he'll spot any bags that you leave anywhere in this area. Now, if you're lucky, he'll walk this way. You can hide in the right places and launch his body into somewhere where he won't be seen. Again, you'll see that I do that here. Although there was a concern, because that guy didn't stick into the corner. I wanted him to stick into the corner. You notice he started to immediately notice what was going on. If I let that get up to the exploration point, it was over. Honestly, at this point, I figured I was screwed. If any of those other mobile guys went in that direction, they're going to see him. Not a lot I can do about that. So, one of the nice things too, sometimes when this guy's walking over here, they'll come into this area that you see on the right behind these little cars. You can shoot them there. They'll fall down into their crumpled little heap of death and not be visible by people who are walking around unless they happen to go into that area, which is super nice. Make sure you take out cameras on this level, by the way. Anything above hard has cameras. I've never once had a camera that I've shot be spotted, so it's almost like they don't care that the cameras get shot or not. I haven't risked it, you know, too far, but just be aware that there are cameras. One of the losses I had, or a couple of the losses I had, well, at least loss of stealth, were because I took somebody out where a camera was, and you know, you just have to be careful of that. So notice I've got I've taken out 4. 2 of them I've body bagged, and 2 of them I've tried to place somewhere where they won't be visible when this guy turns the corner. So you can't afford to take the guy out before he turns the corner. You gotta wait. So come up on this guy, boom, launch him around the corner. Now I know that there's only a couple more walkers at this point. I don't have to worry too much about a surprise person turning the corner, but there's a lot of running back and forth. You have to make sure that you're aware of where the people who are mobile are going, because they can take any of these paths. Some of them have predefined paths, and maybe I'm just not cognizant enough to have figured it out yet, but it seems anybody who's mobile could actually show up anywhere. So just be aware of that. So there's a camera. Couldn't mark it. I tried marking it, but now what I need to do is just wait. There's a lot of patience involved with stealth in this. Just a ton of patience. And that sucks. But you know what? It was super satisfying to be able to do this. So, alright, here comes another guy. This one's this one was tough because I think I'll show it, but the body is in a place where, I mean, he's starting to notice it, but I got lucky. You see him turning that corner right there? I was able to take him out behind the Winnebago or Zamboni or whatever the hell that thing is right there, where he's not visible by anybody who walks. And I think that's the last mobile guy. I don't remember. My brain was kind of mush. No, there's one more mobile guy. You got to take out all the mobiles first. You just have to. Once you've taken out all the mobile guys, you can go ahead and decide how are you going to deal with all of the stationary people. How can you maneuver and take them out in such a way that they won't be spotted by anybody else? And it's an easier process of doing that. So once the mobile guys are out. So I don't remember how I deal with this guy. I guess we're all going to find out while I'm watching this. I know it works. Either that or I've edited this poorly. Once he's down, now one of the other really difficult things about this level is the guys inside the warehouse are also mobile. They're moving around. They are constantly moving. None of them are stationary, so you'll see how I deal with that, but it can be a serious pain. So I believe actually what this guy does is he just starts walking down the back alley, and once he's past the guy, I take him out. Actually, I think I have to act really quickly because I've taken him out in a place where he's kind of visible. So we'll see. But no, I'm just hunting him like a tigress, waiting to pounce upon his digital corpse or whatever. So keep spotting him, keep waiting. He's gonna stand there like a dick every once in a while. Okay, so yeah, he starts walking up that way. In a moment here, I take him out. This was a tricky part of the operation. I take him out. Boop. Uh-oh, visible. Boop. And then I blow him. I shoot him in such a way that he falls backwards. This is, one of the stationary guys I know will not be visible at this point if I take him out. But notice again the shotgun. I can shoot this second guy right here. I can blast him so that he's not visible by any of these guys down here. So here I am doing a last sweep, making sure there's no cameras I've missed. Finally getting to take a little bit of a peek inside the warehouse to see what I'm dealing with, see if there's cameras in there. There's not. So all I have left are these two stationary guys and the people that are inside. This one's not difficult. They're facing the same direction. Take the dude out in the back. That's it. Notice he started to see, though. That question mark was coming up. If I didn't take him out quickly, game over. All right, last section. We just need to deal here with 5 mobile guys within a small confined space. That's it. Actually, so the first time several times I've gotten to the point here where I'm just now down to these guys in the warehouse. And I found it's really important to watch for long enough to make sure that you have a good idea of how many are in there. I found normally it's 5. It is not always 5, but normally there's 5 guys in here. The reason that's important is once I thought there were 4, I took out 4 dudes, and then suddenly, maybe 10 seconds later, there was an exclamation point because I missed it. There was one last guy, 1 exclamation point, it was over, the police were on their way, I had failed myself. So be patient here. I waited long enough to get a good feel for who is where and where they're moving and where they're going to be visible if I shoot them. This is actually a decent layout because the stairs are in the back of that platform. And I got super lucky here because 2 guys went up at once. Super, super lucky. So all I need to do is wait for one of them to turn the other direction, take both of them out. Notice I had to move quick again. That question mark was starting to form. Now there's 3. 3 to go. Now, because of the layout of the back there, the way the stairs go up the back of the warehouse away from where I just took those guys out, all I have to do is wait for somebody to go up the stairs, take them out once they get to the top, and then there's 2 to go. And you'll see how I deal with the 2. If you're quick enough, and I'm almost not quick enough, you'll see. But if you're quick enough, you can take out 2 guys without them noticing. So take him out, 2 to go. Whoop-de-doo. The real difficult part here is they can't be facing each other. You need to make sure one is facing the other direction. They're both line of sight. And here it is. Boop. And I missed. Luckily, I've got an automatic weapon, so I can just take them out. And that's it. So at this point, all I really need to do is make sure that there's no last little cameras that are going to spot me. There aren't, by the way, but just in case, I have had cameras in the warehouse, so be aware of that. Otherwise, it's just bag it up and go. So at this point, I'm going to fast forward. No real point in watching me lug 9 or 10 weapon bags across the map. So we will fast forward and take it on the flip side.